Well, thanks to Microsoft, the PS5 might end up being cheaper than it was supposed to be. Welcome back, friends, to another video here on the channel. Today, we are getting rumors, we are getting multiple reports that apparently the PS5, the price internally is being changed because of Microsoft's announcement of the pricing on the Xbox Series X and the Series S. So apparently, originally, the PS5 was supposed to cost a little bit more than it's going to now. And that's apparently the PS5 is getting a new price to more aggressively compete with the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, which is really exciting. I'm kind of glad that this kind of all happened because I had a feeling that, you know, if Xbox, if Microsoft came out and announced their price first, maybe that would have forced Sony to kind of rethink their strategy. But if Sony would have announced their price first, it might have been a little bit higher. Just because, you know, Sony, I think, was obviously they're very confident in their platform, their console. But they also know that the value of the Xbox Series X and the Series S that, you know, Xbox and Microsoft is presenting, there's a lot of value there. And they want to make sure that they can compete with that. Even though, you know, they're confident in their platform and basically the fan base they've built throughout this generation of PS4 and Xbox One. Well, Sony with PS4, Microsoft with Xbox One, you know, this generation. So this is coming from a report from comicbook.com, who's getting their report from Game Reactor. Game Reactor originally said that they spoke with a source who was talking about these details, and then they updated. Game Reactor updated their post saying that now they're hearing reports from multiple sources about all this stuff, which is absolutely insane. So I'm going to read the report. I'm going to read you guys a report from comicbook.com because it summarizes it a lot better in a shorter paragraph. So I'll throw it up on the screen right now. This is what they had to say. According to a new report from Game Reactor, Sony is internally adjusting its price point for the console ahead of its reveal following yesterday's news that the Xbox Series X will cost $500 while the Xbox Series S will only cost $300. More specifically, the outlet claims that the discless version, so the all-digital version of the PS5 will retail at $400. Meanwhile, the standard console with a disc drive will retail at $500. The report notes that the price point Sony had in mind for these consoles, which was originally higher, which is likely $500 and $600, but it's been forced to adjust these prices following the aforementioned Xbox reveal. So this is pretty crazy, okay? If this is real, if this is true, this is pretty crazy, and we'll know if it's real once Sony announces, you know, the price and the release date for the PS5. If they come out and say that the digital version is $400 and the physical edition is $500, or not the physical, but the standard edition, whatever you want to call it, is $500, then you can pretty much bet that this report is true. And initially, excuse me, the prices were a lot higher. I've been having, as much as I've been wanting to see the PS5 hit the $500 range with the, you know, standard edition, I had a feeling that Sony was probably going to try to go up to $600 just because, again, they have a lot of confidence coming out of PS4 going into PS5. They got a lot of momentum as well, but obviously that would have worked against them, you know, especially with all the value that Microsoft's offering. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there that would still get a PS5 either way. Maybe, you know, that's where their friends are, or maybe they just prefer the PS5 exclusives, or whatever it may be. Some people just prefer one platform or another, okay? And by the way, don't start any console wars in the comment section below. I don't care if you guys have a preference. I have preferences, but like, console wars is just stupid, man. Okay, let's just all get along and sing songs. And no, I'm just kidding. So I don't know. Again, take it with a grain of salt because it is a rumor. It's a leak. Nothing's official until Sony comes out and says, you know, that's what their pricing is. But if this is true, this is huge, especially the fact that the digital edition would be $100 cheaper. You know, I was willing to bet that the digital edition would be only $50 cheaper because an optical drive doesn't cost that much, right? So, you know, just removing that doesn't really, you know, change I wouldn't think it would change the price all that much. But if they really are going $100 cheaper with the digital edition, and, you know, now the digital edition is going to be priced at $400 and the standard edition at $500, that's pretty huge because the digital edition is the exact same hardware as the physical edition, except just you can't put discs in it, right? So it has the same power for basically what would be $100 more than an Xbox Series S. So think about that. If they could do that, then the digital edition can very easily compete with the Xbox Series S in terms of, you know, I guess hardware to price to whatever ratio, right? Because then you got the Xbox Series S, which is at a $300 price point, which has significantly less GPU power, right? 4 teraflops of GPU power on the Series S, 10 teraflops on the PS5, 12 on the Xbox Series X. So, you know, at that point, if someone's considering an Xbox Series S at $300, if they can see that the digital edition, which obviously the Series S is also a digital Xbox, there's no disc in it. If the Xbox Series S had a disc drive, that might kind of change this scenario up a little bit, but it doesn't. So the fact that it's also all digital and the PS5, you know, digital edition would have the same power as the normal standard PS5, then at that point, people who are considering an Xbox Series S, if one of the main reasons isn't based on where their friends are playing, which nowadays that might not even matter for a lot of reasons, because a lot of games are becoming crossplay. You know, there's a lot of games. I mean, Call of Duty's crossplay, Fortnite's crossplay. There's a lot of other games that are becoming crossplay. So at this point, it doesn't really matter where your friends are. You could be on PS5, your friends could be on Xbox One, even like the last generation, and you can still play with them. You know, it doesn't even really matter. So, excuse me. So at this point, if someone is considering an Xbox Series S for, you know, a price reason, they might start considering, well, for $100 more, I could get a PS5. The PS5, yes, it's all digital as well. There's no disc drive, but it's a 1 terabyte hard drive as opposed to a 512 gig hard drive. It's way more powerful. I mean, 10 teraflops as opposed to 4 teraflops for, you know, GPU. I see a lot of people saying like, oh, the CPU is so much better on the Xbox Series S than the PS5. Dude, it's 0.1 gigahertz faster, okay? You are never going to notice that. I see people doing this all the time, like, the Xbox Series S is more powerful than the PS5. Dude, first of all, CPU does not make it more powerful. GPU is where the true everything, you know, truly lies in graphic capabilities, right? 0.1 gigahertz of processing power, you're not going to notice that, honestly. So it doesn't even matter. It's irrelevant. But the point is at that point, you got, you know, people who are considering an Xbox Series S, they can get, first of all, more storage for just $100 more on the PS5, way more power, right? Something that's more kind of in line with the Xbox Series X, just for $100 more. So at this point, you got a $300 Xbox Series S, right? Which has a 500 gig hard drive and is, you know, very low graphic power compared to PS5 and Xbox Series X. And then you'd have at just $100 more, $400, you'd have the the PS5 digital edition. And then at $500, you'd have both the PS5 standard edition and the Xbox Series X. So I don't know, man. If this is true, it's going to be crazy. It's going to pose a lot of questions. A lot of people are going to have to figure out, what do you want to do? Do you want to go with an Xbox Series S, which does have a lot of value with Xbox Game Pass, right? Especially you could do the Xbox All Access if it's available in your country, which, you know, it's like, what, $25 a month for 2 years, and you get Xbox on Ultimate Game Pass with it, which includes Xbox Live Gold, and, you know, full access to Xbox Game Pass on both PC and Xbox. That's a lot of value in and of itself. So there's still, you know, that's kind of Xbox and Microsoft's biggest thing right now is, you know, Game Pass is a huge value. And, you know, Xbox All Access, being able to basically finance the console. But then again, like PS5, like I said, you get the digital edition for $100 more, and it has a bigger hard drive, double the space for the Xbox Series S, and it has, you know, way more graphic power. So it's going to be interesting. If this is true, if you know, Sony comes out with the PS5 digital is $400 and the standard edition is $500, that's huge, especially if they cut the price. I mean, if they were considering $500 and $600 and they actually went down to $400 and $500, I'm super glad they did, okay, because that's more reasonable. You know, I don't know. Well, I guess time will tell. Whenever we get official, you know, confirmation from Sony, I'll let you guys know here on the channel. So make sure you guys keep it locked. Make sure you guys subscribe and all that good stuff. If you are new to the channel, you're wondering what we do here. I do a variety of, you know, gaming content, whether it's gaming news, let's plays, gameplays, different things like that. So, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the variety of content. And if you want to check out any social links down in the description below, check those out. But otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys soon in another one. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Again, take it with a grain of salt because it is still a rumor until Sony confirms it. But I hope it's true. Multiple sources. That's hopeful. It's promising, but hopefully Sony comes out soon and confirms something. See you guys soon. Another one. Till then, friends. Game on. Thanks for watching.